What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming back to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Today we have the founder of Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, versus the one and only Joe Rogan. I would say if these two were to go out behind the barn and throw down in fisticuffs, Joe Rogan would absolutely tune up James O'Keefe because Joe Rogan's obviously in a mixed martial arts. He's very fit for a 51-year-old man, however old he is. But we're not talking about violence here. What we're talking about is James. So if you guys don't know James O'Keefe and what Project Veritas do is they do a lot of undercover, not really sting work, but what happens is a lot of people reach out to James O'Keefe and say, this is going on in my place of business. This is going on with these elections. This is going on here and there. People reach out to him as he explains it, and he brings them in, they wire them up, or, they find evidence. They present the evidence. A lot of people have criticized James O'Keefe. He gets shit on all the time about the methods and the things he's doing, but he's never lost a court battle. I don't know the exact numbers here. People have tried to sue him, saying that the way he obtained information was false, the way he did this was wrong. He hasn't lost a lawsuit. He's been taken to court. He has not lost, and there have been several times where he's turned around and flipped them and sued these people for whether it be legal costs or defamation or something, and he's won those suits. You can argue all you want that what he's doing is, I don't know, immoral. I don't know what. I think what he's doing is great. I think this guy, James O'Keefe, is super brave. I think he's got a set of brass balls on him for the things that he does and the things that he brings out into the forefront, and the exposing the hypocrisy, exposing the illegal activities that these people are doing. He's exposed a lot of things with social media, with Twitter, with Google. You can go back and check out Project Veritas on YouTube. This guy's a beast. I mean, these guys have exposed some pretty interesting things. So recently, he exposed a story having to do with ballads in Minnesota with Ilhan Omar, the great Somalian congresswoman of Minnesota. Ilhan Omar. Oof. Not a big fan of Ilhan Omar. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so there was a lot of, I don't know, fraud, shenanigans going on with the ballots. And James O'Keefe had a bunch of stuff on video. So Joe Rogan, he clearly knows who James O'Keefe is because there's a clip. James O'Keefe has a clip, and there's a bunch of times where Joe Rogan brings up Project Veritas. Says James O'Keefe, yeah, O'Keefe from Veritas. And then all of a sudden, he's talking to Tim Dillon on one of his episodes, and they're talking about voter fraud or whatever, talking about this election going on with Ilhan Omar in Minnesota. And Joe Rogan seems to forget James O'Keefe's name, and then he's calling into question his the way he does things. He's questioning if what he's doing they're talking about. He's talking with Jamie, his Joe Rogan's producer. You guys know Jamie, young Jamie. Saying, oh well, did he edit it this way? Did he make it? Just calling into question what James O'Keefe's doing in these videos. James O'Keefe makes it straight 100% clear to Joe Rogan exactly what's going on. This guy that's on the computer screen in front of James O'Keefe there is on his own Snapchat bragging about this stuff. It wasn't a hidden camera that exposed this. This guy posted his Snapchat. Joe Rogan, without knowing any of the truth to the facts to the matter that was going on, calls out James O'Keefe, kind of makes him seem like a shady character on the Joe Rogan podcast, which, as we all know, reaches millions and millions of people. So for Joe Rogan to do that to James O'Keefe, me personally, I think it was a kind of a low blow without knowing the facts of the case, without knowing exactly what was going on, to start talking trash like that about him on his podcast. I mean, he wasn't super harsh, but find out what's going on with this guy, Joe, before you start questioning his methods and his motives. However, in this case of James O'Keefe versus Joe Rogan, I'm going to give it to James O'Keefe 100% because he calls out Joe Rogan, straight up says to him, listen, Joe Rogan, this is how things go down. This is it. This is this guy's Snapchat. We didn't edit it this way. We didn't do it this way. Calls out young Jamie for it and says, I challenge you to bring me on your podcast. Let me sit in front of you to explain this. Now the ball's in Joe Rogan's court. Let me just play a clip real quick here for you guys. It's a long video, but I'm not gonna play the whole thing. But just let me play a clip.
Joe Rogan criticized myself and Project Veritas, and I'd like to respond. First, it seems Joe Rogan struggles to remember my name.
The guy, what the fuck is his name? That guy that's always doing the undercover shit, the Veritas stuff. That guy. Project Veritas.
It's just interesting because previously he did not struggle to remember my name.
There's this all Project Veritas is this guy James O'Keefe, the O'Keefe podcast.
Okay.
The Project Veritas guy.
Yeah.
And there's been videos of what is that Project Veritas, where that guy his employees got undercover footage of Twitter employees talking about that kind of stuff.
So it's just interesting to me, but let's move on. Rogan seems to doubt the veracity of the ballot video with the guy with all the ballots in his car, Liban, but doesn't seem to doubt the veracity of the Twitter shadow banning videotapes that we obtained in 2018. Listen to this.
James O'Keefe. He's got a new one now about Ilhan Omar.
The ballots in the car.
Yeah, the ballots in the car. And he's got these guys saying, look at all these ballots, look at all these ballots. But you got to go with that guy. You got to go, okay. Then he also catches shit that's real.
Yes.
Like he caught those people on Twitter, the Twitter executives talking about how they shadow ban people.
Yeah.
How does the Twitter video, and by the way, he's referring to Abhinav Vedrevu, this clip right here.
One strategy is to shadow ban so that you have ultimate control. The idea of a shadow ban is that you ban someone but they don't know they've been banned because they keep posting but no one sees their content.
So that's the Twitter shadow banning clip, but Rogan goes meh when it pertains to this Snapchat video of Liban in his car. Again, he posted it to his Snapchat in early July. It's a real actual videotape recorded by Liban himself. Wasn't recorded by us. It wasn't obtained through the element of pretense or deception. It was actually a more pure form of obtaining the information than undercover subterfuge. So why is it that the Twitter video you like, Joe Rogan, but the Snapchat video recorded by Liban you don't like? Explain to me why one is different than the other. They're both incontrovertible video evidence. Is it because you think there's more merit in exposing bias at Twitter, that there's less merit in exposing corruption or illegalities as it pertains to ballot harvesting? That doesn't make sense to me. Then Joe Rogan says this.
So it's like whenever someone can't be straight with you and they have little tricks and they have stunts.
The ballot harvesting in the car was not obtained through a stunt or a trick or a device or any deceit or undercover reporting like we did with the Twitter investigation when we set up a fake Jobs Box account and did a human resources sting to obtain the meeting with Abhinav Vedrevu. The videotape in the car with Liban was obtained from his Snapchat account. No tricks, no devices, yet you're talking to me about tricks. How does that work? Then Rogan seems to ask how the media perceives this Minnesota ballot harvesting investigation.
What is the general consensus? Like, how is the media treating this Ilhan Omar thing?
When I looked today, because I saw it yesterday, the initial response I saw was probably more from like liberal sides for being like, this is just to fog the conversation because of all the tax stuff that just came out.
If you read the article carefully and you can see the text in the article, they didn't actually certify that we did this to coincide with the Sunday New York Times tax article. They just assumed that we did. In fact, we made the decision to release the Minnesota ballot harvesting investigation prior, and we have evidence of that. And the New York...
Okay, so there you see it. Joe Rogan, I don't know why you say, he's to tricks and this and that. James O'Keefe goes through and clearly very clearly and logically explains exactly what was going on, which basically, Joe Rogan here, stick your foot in your mouth, buddy. And I'm gonna play it. I know it's a long clip. If you want to check it out, like I said, go to Project Veritas and watch the whole thing. It's very interesting. But at the end, James O'Keefe says something to Joe Rogan. It says basically, Joe Rogan, the ball's in your court. You want to know the truth? Bring me on your show, and we'll get to the bottom of it.
When what you see, a guy on Snapchat covered with absentee ballots, a cash transaction, nope, there has to be some other explanation for that. Let's the default be question what we're seeing when we don't question everything we're reading. And I think the right thing for you to do is to put me on your show to actually talk to you about this, not interview everybody else about our journalism. And I look forward to being on your show to talk about this and much more.
Oh, snap. There you have it. So, James O'Keefe versus Joe Rogan, the big bad Joe Rogan, gets slapped down. James O'Keefe, you are the winner in this match, my friend. In this versus, you won. You couldn't have explained it any better to Joe Rogan and his fans and his listeners. Couldn't explain it any better. And then you said, put me on your show, interview me, let me explain it instead of interviewing everybody else that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Very, 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 very professional. Great job by James O'Keefe there. Great job. I don't think he could have come back at Joe Rogan any better than he did. This guy, James O'Keefe's amazing. We're going to be hearing and seeing a lot of this guy in the future. This guy, he was on an episode of Tim Cast IRL, Tim Pool's podcast. It was phenomenal. This guy is smart. He knows what he's doing. He's got goals. He's got a purpose, and he won't stop until he gets the things done he wants to get done. And like I said, he doesn't go looking for people to expose. People come to him and say, "This is going on. We need, whistleblowers. We need to expose it." He sets it all up, and they expose the corruptness, the wrongdoings that are going on. Much, much, much respect to James O'Keefe. Great guy. Watch him on Timcast IRL. Hopefully, Joe Rogan invites him on. That would be the man up thing to do. Joe Rogan, man up. Have James O'Keefe on so you guys can discuss this face to face. Give him a chance to explain it to you instead of asking young Jamie and Tim Dillon and Tom Segura and everybody else about it. So that's it, guys. Just a quick episode of Versus. This one goes to James O'Keefe. Sorry, Joe Rogan. You are 0-1 on Versus. All right, everybody. It's a crazy world out there, as I say at the end of all my videos. Oh, before I go, just getting started out. Love to have you subscribe and join me on this journey, as I said. And hit the like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you like James O'Keefe, if you think he's a clown, if you think he's a slimy snake, let me know. Guys, be kind to yourselves. Be kind to your neighbors. Tell the people close to you love them. Be a good person. Help other people out. And you're going to have a good life. I can guarantee it. Stay safe. Peace.